from WBBZ-TV Sports. It's time to beat the champ. Now, here are your hosts, Paul Peck and Sue Novoitsky.
Well, hi, everybody, and welcome to Beat the Champ with Janelle Saban and Hall of Fame bowler Sue Novoitsky. My name is Paul Peck. We've had a great stay here at the Rapids Bowling Center in Niagara Falls, Sue. Intense bowling, tricky lane conditions. Today, we're going to exhale a little bit and relax and have a little fun.
We are. I don't know about the bowlers.
Yeah, that's true, because the lane conditions aren't going to change very much. So as we always do with our fourth show at every stop, we're going to have a little fun. And today's is a little fun between the Rapids Bowling Center and the other part of their family, which is the Tonawanda Bowling Center. A little competition among the bowlers.
Yeah, well, I don't think that Rapids likes Tonawanda too much because they put out the worst shot possible. So we're going to see, little competition. But they're good bowlers. We got 210, 220 average bowlers here, so they should be able to rise to the challenge. So we have 4 bowlers, 2 from each place. We're going to crown a champion by the end of the day. Should be pretty exciting. A little intensity going on here.
Hey, I'm all here for the fun. It's the fun of the game.
All right, well, we're going to have some fun today. So it's our Tonawanda Bowling Center versus Rapids Bowling Center challenge. It starts right now. Match number 1 features Pat Donovan from here at the Rapids Bowling Center against R.J. Brasikowski from the Tonawanda Bowling Center. And we get this little rivalry started, and Pat Donovan is going to be our first guy up. And if you were with us over the last couple of weeks here at the Rapids Bowling Center, you saw Pat as the general manager here. He was the one dishing out all the cash to our bowlers at the end of the matches.
See if he saved a little
now
for
he's
himself.
on the other side now, right? Oh, now he's the one that we're looking at and talking about. And here's Pat to get us started. It's Tonawanda versus Rapids Bowling Center. And here we go.
Now, he got to sit and watch the other bowlers, compete on this, and he knows how the pattern's supposed to break down, but that doesn't make it so, does it?
Yeah, at Beat the Champ TV, hashtag Beat the Champ, to follow us on social media, and of course like us on the Facebook page. And to provide all the dirt that we need and some inside knowledge, we have brought in the bowlers for our next match to give a little color commentary here. So we welcome in Jake Weiser from here at the Rapids Bowling Center and Cody Regan from the Tonawanda Bowling Center. Jake, you're a familiar face. You were on our last show here in the competition. So, all right, give everybody a feel for sort of the rivalry between the two places here.
It's not really a rivalry. I mean, we both bowl, and we just figured it'd be a good idea to kind of get us out. We all work together, and we strive to make both centers as good as they could run.
Right, and and Cody, you guys are good bowlers. I mean, you work at the bowling alley. There's obviously a reason that you enjoy being around it, but you guys are all good bowlers, right? Do you push each other a little bit?
A little bit. We push a lot of each other, like going back and forth, seeing who can do better sets and everything else. I mean, it's not really a rivalry, I'd say. I'd say it's more of a good group of friends that are together, that like to bowl. Let's have fun. That's the whole thing about bowling, is just having fun.
All right, so now as RJ is up here, Cody, you work with him over at Tonawanda. Tell us what we need to know about RJ.
Well, I've known RJ for the last 5 years. I became really good friends with him, and over the years, basically he's become one of my best friends.
Wow.
I mean, he's a hard worker. I work with him over the summer for summer stuff during carnivals and stuff. I mean, I've got to know him a lot, the whole family.
What do you do over there at Tonawanda?
What's that?
What's your position at Tonawanda?
I work at the counter and I work in the pits.
So you work for him?
Yes.
Okay.
He's my boss in the back.
Got it.
All right, great. All right, Jake, give us the lowdown here on Pat Donovan.
Pat's been working here for a long time. He's actually related to the owner. He is his nephew. So I actually, when I first got hired, Pat was working here almost 10 years ago now. And he left for a little bit, and then he came back as the GM last year. So we're doing everything we can to make this place as good as it can be.
How about as a bowler? What do we need to know about Pat as a bowler? Got
Pat's a good
solid
bowler.
218 average.
Oh yeah, yeah. He actually bowls on my team on Tuesday nights in the Sanborn Businessmen League. And then I bowled with Pat for years, so we always like to have a good time and bowl the best we can.
Do you find that bowling in the center you work at gets you open to criticism, or that you can't just enjoy your night out bowling, that there's input from the league bowlers?
Yeah, I mean, you always have to kind of go around and make sure everything's all right, make sure everybody's happy still. So sometimes it can get a little stressful and it messes with your bowling, but everybody stays pretty happy here usually.
I know from the mechanic standpoint, you have to bowl and run in the back and fix things at the same time, or set up pins, or
sometimes we do that, but
if there's a breakdown, you need all hands on deck back there.
So right in the middle of trying to bowl and put up your best scores, every once in a while you got to drop everything and run back there and fix something?
Sometimes, but not rarely. Very
All right,
rarely.
well, that's because you got everything running smoothly, right? There you go, see?
Everything runs smooth.
There you go, that's what we love to hear. So, all right, so we got Pat trying to finish things off here.
He's trying to
in the
get more
third
than
frame.
7 on 2 balls.
There
he is.
pickoff. So I would think, you guys wouldn't do what you do if you didn't love this sport, and you probably started loving the sport first before you then figured out that it could be part of your profession. So take us through a little bit of how you guys got involved in this sport and sort of where your passion for the sport comes from. Jake?
I actually grew up, I was bowling at Beverly Lanes, which was a place here, I mean, every single person in the area bowled there. Whether you were a factory worker or fast food worker, just about everybody they knew bowled at Beverly Lanes. And it was a huge place, 64 lanes. They closed down, I'd say probably about 13 years ago or so, maybe 02, 03. And ever since then, everybody's kind of been dispersed through the different centers. But
this feels like a good time to take a short break. We'll be right back with more action on Beat the Champ. Welcome back to Beat the Champ. Let's get back to the action here on WBBZ-TV.
How often, Cody, do they either break or do they need to be sort of babied to make sure they don't break sometimes?
Basically, you're just doing preventive maintenance on most of the machines. I mean, they really don't break much. It's just you're doing little tweaks here and there throughout the machines.
What about the scoring units? The scoring units is one of the things that that change over the years. They get more sophisticated, and every time you get a new scoring unit, you have to learn how to use that or learn the mechanics of it, because I'm sure they.
Yeah, it's a lot of wiring diagrams you got to look at, and a lot of wires that go from the camera to the system,
And then your customers have to learn how to use them when you get something new.
It's always fun teaching your customers how to use the machines.
Especially, people that have been bowling for a very long time, used to certain things. These are all about graphics and,
I mean, the funny fact is, nowadays, like all these kids growing up, they don't know how to add the scores up. They're depending on the computer.
And that was going to be the next thing I brought up, is it's one of those things. Do you know how to keep score?
Yes, I do.
Do you know how to keep score?
I do.
I learned at a young age.
And that's great. Now, you probably bowled there when I worked there at Tonawanda. How did you learn how to keep score? Because there was already automatic scoring at that time.
Well, my dad grew up at Tonawanda and at Delaware Lanes too. So when I was like a little infant, he'd bring me out every Friday night. I'd sit right on the little back thing and watch them. I mean, if they turned me around, I would cry. I wanted to see everything going down. And I just kind of grew up there, and then once I began to walk.
Is that how you learned how to keep score?
Was it?
Is that how you learned how to keep score?
Yep.
Was going with
I
your
was watching,
parents?
and then when it came 7 or 8, I used to bowl there. Then my dad's like, "Okay, I'm shutting the screen off. Go keep your own score."
Yeah. Well, that's good. Because this is like, could you watch a tennis match without knowing how they score?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is unusual scoring with strikes and spares and doubles and all of that. It's like I can't even imagine appreciating this game and not knowing how to.
It's so much easier now. You can just look up. Oh, you have that in that frame. Okay. You don't sit there and add up each frame.
I know, but you still fundamentally have to understand where that score came from.
Mm-hmm. You gotta understand all the marks and all the different types.
Do people still come in every once in a while, the old timers, and ask for a score sheet and a pencil?
Oh yeah, once in a while you get those people that like to score by hand. Maybe double check the computers that are never
There isn't even really
wrong.
a place to even write on very much anymore, right?
Well, I know that, I like to keep the score back here while we're doing the show, because I can't necessarily see the board that well. And some of these houses, it's hard to find a score sheet at it. They don't all carry score sheets.
So, a little unfortunate gutter there for RJ, but he's bowling very well, and this match is still pretty tight here between Pat and RJ. You guys are putting on a pretty good show. a little pressure on you guys to have to respond. Now, Jake, if everybody was with us a week ago, you actually qualified and made the show and had a chance to bowl on the show. So how exciting was that for you to and to do it here where you spend all your time anyway, but to actually be in the competition of the show?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun bowling, and I ran into a buzzsaw with Joe, and I made a couple bad shots, and he capitalized because that's what great bowlers do, and he definitely deserved the win.
Well, those Colemans, they're very competitive. I know I bowl against them, and they bowl on my Wednesday night league, and they bowl in my Monday night league, and they have a good time, but they're very competitive. So Joe just found a way to get to the pocket, and if that meant throwing it hard and straight, then that's what it took.
Yeah, I bowled in travel league for a couple of years too, and both of them bowl on the same team in that, and they were always a very, very tough team to go against.
Plus, they can't stand losing to each other. So
yeah, they always have that.
I noticed that Jeff sat back there to heckle his brother.
Yep.
Jake, we spent a lot of time talking over the last couple of weeks of the show about the very difficult oil patterns and the conditions, particularly lane number 3. When you hear all that, because you and over at Tonawanda, it's Cody have a role in setting all that up. Sometimes you just sit back and smile and tell everybody to relax, or do you take that and go, maybe we made it a little tougher on these guys?
Yeah, you always want to make sure you're doing everything right and everything you can to make sure everybody has a good time. I mean, even if they're playing a little bit hard, if they're playing the exact same way, sometimes people don't mind that. I mean, if anybody else is like me, I actually really like the challenge. I'd rather try very hard and shoot a 190 rather than feel like I threw the ball terrible and shoot 250.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
Yeah, but
they're better off being challenged than super easy.
But we're speaking from a real classic league bowler standpoint. I mean, I know some of the league bowlers work all day, they're tired, and they come out here to have a good time, and they don't want to struggle or work hard, or they're not here to make this into the puzzle of a lifetime. Like, and that puzzle's, I'm not gonna say easy, but it's easier for us who know how to read the lanes and have a variety of bowling balls to pick from. And I know, as someone who bowls and someone who's worked in the bowling industry, it's nice to know both sides of it, but you got to appreciate both sides of it. I mean, you can't take the stance like, oh, learn how to bowl. You have to understand what it's like on both sides. And sometimes that's an art for us because,
Well, you've been doing it for years.
Right.
You finally understand
Right.
how everything breaks down, how oil is, the new equipment out there.
Pretty good performance of 181 on the board for R.J. Brasikowski. Looks like he is going to be on his way to upholding the pride of Tonawanda Bowling Center, and Pat's got a chance here coming into the 10th frame. Hey guys, thank you very much for the TV work. You guys get to work on bowling. You'll be our next match, and we'll see which one of you winds up playing for the championship here. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Paul.
Jake and to Cody. They are match number 2 as we wrap up this one. Thanks, guys. Well done.
Thank you.
There's a nice strike for Pat.
So Pat needs to throw another strike or spare, and he wins.
How about that? This one was tight all the way through. So, again, it's the pride between these two places on the line here, on the shoulders of Patrick Donovan.
Oh boy.
Looks good. Oh.
Okay, so
Now what's the challenge?
So now he has to make this. And this is no easy spare. If he gets 3, they tie. If he gets 2, RJ wins.
So 4 to win, 3 to tie, 2 is a loser.
Correct.
All right, well, there you go. Let's see what Patrick Donovan does here.
And no easy spare, that's for sure.
He gets
Nice
all 4
job.
of them. How about that for clutch? Patrick Donovan with the 182 to 181 victory, and it's Rapids Bowling Center 1, Tonawanda nothing. Jake and Cody will see where we go with that score when we come back for match number 2. It's our 4th exhibition match here at the Rapids Bowling Center. We're off to a great start. Sue and I are back right after this. Oh, a difficult and frustrating one-pin defeat for you, R.J. Brasikowski. That one was tough to build that lead and then see it kind of fall apart there at the end.
Yeah.
Pat earned it, but it was tough, wasn't it?
Oh, Pat's definitely a good bowler, but as soon as I missed that 3-pin, I knew he had me.
Right. All right. So now we got to get the pride of the Tonawanda Bowling Center upheld here. You got faith in Cody that he can do that for you?
Yes, I do.
All right. Well, that's our next match. Match number 2 is coming up from the Rapids Bowling Center. Beat the Champ returns right after this. So there are Jake and Cody ready for match number 2 here. Of course, Jake from here at the Rapids Bowling Center, Cody from the Tonawanda Bowling Center. So we already know that Pat has advanced on. So a little bit of pressure on Cody here to make it a Rapids versus Tonawanda final, which will be our next match here. And Cody Regan starts things out.
It feels like we're watching the show again.
Yes, it does. 24 years old from the town of Tonawanda. Of course, as we mentioned, and as he told us, works at the Tonawanda Bowling Center. Hasn't been bowling all that long, only 7 years, but when you're hanging around the bowling center that much, it rubs off on you and you start to learn the nuances of it. And just like we did in the first match, we bring the 2 guys in that just bowled as expert color commentators, which means our victorious Pat Donovan and the unfortunate, I'm going to say that was a bad break for you, RJ Brasikowski, in that last match. Pat, congratulations on a nice win that came down to you having to answer the bell in the 10th frame.
Yeah, I think so. It was definitely entertaining. We made it a entertaining match. So
it certainly was that. Oh. All right, so there's Jake Weiser looking to finish off the spare. Pat, tell us what we need to know about Jake.
Man, I've known Jake for, it's been a very long time. He started off here as working birthday parties, long time ago. Yeah, he was still a high school kid.
He left that out of when.
Yeah,
when
I bet he did. he was. I'm not gonna say little high school kid, but he was a high school kid. He did a really great job then, and he's been. Honestly, put this place before a lot of other things in his life, so he's definitely dedicated to the bowling center, which is good to see because sometimes it's hard to find good help these days.
He's got that little baby face hidden behind that beard too. You can see he would have been a little 15-year-old. I can see that.
Yeah.
And it was great to see him make the show last week as well too. That he bowled so well in qualifying that he was able to make the show, and that was pretty cool to see for him as well also.
Yeah, no, I know last time we were here, I think he missed by pins, so he was definitely amped up to make this show. So.
Did you bowl the qualifier for Beat the Champ?
No, I did not. I've been too busy here trying to get everything going for the beginning of the year. So, maybe one of these weeks you'll see me out, but not yet. I gotta get back into it. I took last year off, so it's been a challenge getting back into bowling this year.
All right, difficult 7-10 split there for Jake. So now we turn it over to Cody. So RJ, Cody had some nice things to say about you in the first match. You don't have to return the favor if you don't want to. Go ahead, tell us what we need to know about Cody.
I've known Cody for about 5 years. He's definitely a reliable employee. Whenever you need him, he's always there for you. It's definitely a good thing these days.
That's great. It's good to hear. Good to have, like you said, finding good employees and people that are passionate about the sport is always part of the challenge for you guys, isn't it?
Oh, always.
Yeah. How about as a bowler, RJ? Tell us about Cody as a bowler.
I've known Cody bowling for maybe about 5 years. We used to bowl travel together when Travel 8 was still around. Definitely throw some big games.
Yep. I'll say, what are the characteristics of his bowling game?
He's very, very solid on his feet. I mean, especially with his little bit of canter leverage that he has, but he's definitely solid underneath the ball behind it.
Excellent description. No, it's true. He is
Way to
very
go,
solid.
RJ.
Yeah.
We got a new backup now in case you can't make one of these things.
In case I make one of these shows.
I'm bringing RJ in. He's got all the bowling lingo all down. There's the statistics that you need to know on Cody.
He's trying so hard to overpower that lane, and that lane is not overpowerable.
No, it's you almost need to baby it a little bit on
Yeah.
there, because you try to pull it inside, and it's through the nose every single time. Trust me, I know.
Yes.
Well,
Speaking from
Better you than
experience.
me.
you know, when the lanes present some challenges like that, are you guys usually the first guys that people start searching out and complaining to?
Absolutely.
Is that how
Every
that
single
goes?
time.
All
Yeah.
the time.
That's when RJ hides in the back. I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't have that
You
luxury
don't have that
anymore.
luxury,
no.
no.
So you guys are the targets for that then, huh? Do people literally complain to you about the oil conditions?
You can put more oil out there. You can put less oil out there. You can change
no
it every
oil out
single
there,
week. You can
right?
put nothing out there. You're gonna get the same complaints.
Absolutely.
So,
And the
I
best
mean-
part is in the same night, you can have someone come up to you and tell you they're too oily, and somebody come up to you and tell you they're too dry on the same
Absolutely.
exact lane.
Absolutely, you can.
Well, you know, Sue and I talk a lot about this, and I'd be interested to get your perspectives on this, because we brought this up on one of our last shows. You know, do you make it tougher to make people have to learn how to the other parts of the game, how to be better bowlers with tougher conditions? Or do you just say, hey, you know what, let's make it as easy as we can. That keeps people happy. It keeps them coming back. It keeps them in a good mood. How do you guys, as guys who have a role in deciding these things at two very prominent Western New York bowling centers, how do you make those decisions?
Well, I'll let RJ answer first, because I've had some issues this year already. So
Well, as a head mechanic for almost the past 18 years, we definitely want to make the house shots very easy for bowlers. But I mean, every different caliber of bowler, you have different areas they like to play. So we try to make it playable almost for everybody. Straight bowlers, people that like hooking the ball across the whole lane, things of that nature. But we definitely try to make it wide open for them.
Gotcha.
So,
I would probably echo that too. The one thing we've tried to do here this year is to make it as sustainable as possible. So it may not be, you may not have the entire outside to play with, but the shot's going to stay, once you find it, it's going to stay pretty consistent for 2.5 games, which honestly in this day and age is probably about the best you can ask for.
right. So what's the secret to that? How do you do that? How do you accomplish that?
Well, I've been talking to an ace in the hole lately, so he's been helping me figure out a house shot. So
Is that RJ?
no, that's not RJ.
I have no problem with my house shot.
We're going to be back with more Beat the Champ bowling action in just a minute. Welcome back to Beat the Champ. Let's get back to the action here on WBBZ-TV.
Same for you, RJ, over at Tonawanda. You say you have to deal with the same sort of, lack of consensus sometimes in what people want, or the sound, or the conditions, or anything like that.
Yeah, we try to refrain from having music on during the day or anything like that. But after league bowling done, when all the college students show up about 9:30, definitely the place is bumping.
Well, these guys are racking up some strikes here. That's 3 in a row now for Jake Weiser, and Cody had a couple of them in a row as well too, and starting to hit a little stride here as we come down the home stretch of match number 2. The winner to take on Patrick, who goes back to work on the lanes after he's done with us here.
Yeah, that's the perfect way to describe it, I think, Paul, is it was definitely work out there.
Yeah.
Now you know why the league bowlers want an easier shot.
This is true.
Well, if I put this shot out for my league bowlers, I'd have half of them walk out before they even got done with practice. I guarantee it.
And that's one of the challenges, another one of the challenges is that you can't see it. I mean, it looks like any other pattern. You can't see it.
Yeah, there's oil on the lane.
Balls, right?
Yeah, how else you describe it?
So somebody throws a ball and goes, what?
Eighth frame now for Jake Weiser. And a nice spare pickup for Jake in the 8th frame. What's the major differences between the two places, between here and Tonawanda? Whether it's crowd or atmosphere, or what would you say are the major differences?
One of the majors I've noticed, I've worked in both at points in my career. So Tonawanda pulls a lot more of the college crowd from the University of Buffalo I know of. I mean, here we pull a little bit more of an older crowd during the day. And then at nights we've been just trying to keep up with, I've been trying to bring in more families lately. So trying to make it a little more family atmosphere, which it's been a battle, but I think it's coming around.
Mm-hmm.
bowling centers do have to reinvent themselves. There has to be a lot of personalities to it because you do. I mean, I always said 8 to 80. You got to feed people 8 to 80. You got to provide bowling balls for 8 to 80. You have to provide lane conditions for 8 to 80. I mean, it's like, what other business really has to specialize in 8 to 80? You know.
Yeah, and actually, it's funny because I think here it's more of the 9 to 90. 'Cause I kid, but it's to me it's very true. Like we have, quite a few gentlemen who bowl 4 days a week, and they're in their 90s, and
That's
they're still carrying 180, 190 averages.
That's awesome.
which is amazing. And I mean, one of the guys had a 300 I think last year, so that was pretty amazing too.
That is amazing.
to
for
be
them.
able to give them that outlet to still be active is pretty awesome in my world.
Jake Weiser finishing off the 9th frame with a spare in what remains a pretty tight match here.
Well, if he goes strike spare or spare strike, or he can shut out, and we'll have a hometown advantage.
And then it'll be an all Rapids bowl off.
Then it'll just be the homers made it to the finals, right?
Yeah, and then we'll never hear the end of it.
Then when
Until we go to Tonawanda.
We'll do this at Tonawanda.
Well, that's not going to be easy to get a spare. So maybe not.
Yeah, they tripped out the 10
They
pin
tripped
late.
out the 10, yeah. But no matter what, Cody's going to have a chance to get up and win.
That's true. Yeah.
Just like your match is going to come down to the last ball.
It's going to be the last shot. Yeah.
Well, then we got everybody seated correctly. Then if both of these matches are coming down to the 10th frame, good spare pick up there for Jake. So what else have you guys got coming up? As we get into the winter time, what any big events coming to either of your places that you guys want to talk about or plug a little bit?
Yeah. So one of the big things we got coming up this year, we're hosting the Niagara Falls City Tournament, which in previous years it's as most tournaments go with in-house in the Niagara Falls Association. They limit it to just the Niagara Falls Association bowlers, and they're actually opening it up. I talked to a few guys this morning. So any bowler across Buffalo, Western New York, any association is welcome to come and bowl in it. So we're really trying to get a nice big crowd going. And
Will they have to pay the association fee to bowl? Wow.
That I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know the answer to that, Sue. I just know they maybe.
Yeah.
Is that the best?
Yeah. No, I mean, but
I feel like they said no, but we'll have to definitely wait and see.
even then, though, it's minimal because once you're sanctioned,
I think it's
by the
$9 a
USDC, it's something,
crossover
yeah, it's
at
under
most.
$10.
So, but I know before it's been literally closed door if you're not already, or what they had was a game requirement, so they're not requiring a certain amount of games in the association to bowl. So.
Look at that. We're
I
gonna get the bowling center against bowling center breakdown after all.
It worked out.
There you go. A couple of clutch strikes down the stretch here for Cody Regan is going to advance him onto a victory, it looks like, huh?
No, but that's a very good idea to get more entries, because there's a lot of associations in this area that they could probably get under an umbrella, you would think.
So like I said, you might have the crossover, but I know there's no game requirement for bowling in the association. So
all right.
that'll answer that question.
A strong finish for Cody Regan, 205 to 192 with the win over Jake Weiser. So it's Patrick Donovan and Cody Regan, Rapids versus Tonawanda. Are you ready to go battle here, Pat?
Absolutely not, but we're gonna give it our best try
RJ,
anyway.
give us your best prediction here.
I'd probably predict Cody.
All right. Well, of course he does, right? He's got to
gonna
stick
back
with the
his
guy
own
that he's got to
horse.
work with every day. All right. We will talk to Jake, and then we'll come back with our championship match when we continue our Rapids versus Tonawanda Bowling Challenge here on Beat the Champ. See, I know how this played out for you, Jake. You didn't want to have to bowl against Pat and have beat him and then make him feel grouchy and then he's going to make you work more. I get how this works. In the big picture, you not winning this match against Cody probably works out okay, doesn't it?
Yeah, I didn't want to have to beat my boss and, hear about it the next few weeks. So I figured it'd just be easier if I let Tonawanda and Rapids go at each other, and it'll work out.
Yeah, all right, so that's what we've got. So we got Pat and we got Cody. Give me a scouting report on this one.
It's going to be a good match. You got two completely different styles. Pat's more kind of smooth on the ball. Cody's more kind of got to get deep and
powerful,
rip
right?
hand to the ball, yep.
Yeah, all right, well, there you go. Couldn't have said it any better ourselves. That's the setup for the championship match. It's coming up. Tonawanda versus Rapids. Title match is next on Beat the Champ. Championship match time. Cody Regan from the Tonawanda Bowling Center, Pat Donovan from the Rapids Bowling Center, and bragging rights are on the line here. And after getting a chance to meet these guys and hear them out, they will not stop. Whoever wins will not stop rubbing it in the face of the other one. And it's all good fun. These guys are all buddies and partners and work together and bowl together, and it's been a lot of fun watching these guys, and Cody's been a lot of fun to watch. He is a terrific bowler, a terrific young bowler at 24 years old.
Well, you know what I picked up from talking to the four guys? I picked up that they are dedicated to what they're doing. They are looking out for the bowler. They're looking out for the customer. And hey, what more could you want from an employee than dedication and concern for the business and, looking out for your...
Right, well, and you spent so much time in bowling centers throughout your life that you know how important people like Pat and Jake and Cody and RJ are to make your experience be successful. Couldn't do it without them.
Absolutely. I always thought that a loyal, dedicated employee that you can count on, that's big, because RJ mentioned, that Cody is an employee that you can count on. It's always nice when someone's not calling in and stuff like that. And they're here to give the bowler the best experience. So, that's why these bowling centers are doing so well. Right, and I think I mentioned this to them earlier. I mean, it looks pretty simple. It looks like everything runs seamless and smoothless, but, smooth and seamless, but there's a lot of working parts and moving parts back there that have to be maintained and corrected and fixed when on the occasion when they do break. And it's good to know that, you need it. There's a hang up on the lane, bang, RJ and those guys are on it. That's right. Now then they're back again to, they're not running from the customers. They're getting out there, bowling with them, being part of their experience. Very nice guys, very, very, very nice people.
And it's good to see that they're all good bowlers and they enjoy the sport as well as sort of live in the sport. And this competition's been kind of fun for all of these guys to show themselves off a little bit and, like we said, have a little fun with each other. And
there's going to be no loser in this competition.
Nope.
I guess that's my point.
So Pat Donovan, who we told you about earlier, 30 years old, originally from Penn Yan, New York. He is the general manager here at the Rapids Bowling Center, but heck of a bowler himself with a 218 average. He bowls pretty regularly, about 4 nights a week. On Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. 2 nights at Tonawanda, 3 nights at Rapids. He's here already anyway.
Wow.
And meanwhile, Cody at 24 years old, a little newer to the sport, but a guy who looks like he already has a lot of talent. You can see a lot of skills and a lot of talent there.
Yeah. When the lanes start to hook this much, it's nice that we got these guys that can throw it a little harder. You can notice the ball speed on these guys. They really have to amp it up.
Yeah, these lanes 3 and 4 have seen a lot of action here over the last month, and a little frustrating for some of the top bowlers in Western New York who have been unable to figure them out. And even these guys, the ones that actually throw the oil down on them, have a hard time figuring it out.
It's always fun to get a chance to bowl on TV, though, so it's nice to open it up to some other people to get the opportunity.
Yep, and again, we've already seen Jake Weiser qualify for the regular competition part of the show. Wouldn't be surprised if a kid like Cody, an up-and-coming young bowler here,
Right.
winds up popping up on the show here sooner or later too. And let's watch Cody here in frame 3.
Oops.
Yep, got a little bit too right on that one. Boy, he throws it hard, doesn't he?
He does. Now these guys are going to come back and bowl league tonight, and they're going to bowl on a normal house shot, and it's going to be like a breath of fresh air.
Is that how that happens? You bowl on a oil condition like this, and then if you come right back and bowl on the house shot, you're like, that's what I'm used to.
It feels so easy to you after having to concentrate so hard and work so hard. That no matter what, that has not changed all day. That spot has been out of bounds.
Right. Yep, a little too far to the right, and you are not going to get much benefit from it. Great time of the year here in Western New York. So much going on, coming up on the holidays, not that far away, and a great sports time of the year with the middle of football season and hockey season now getting going, and bowling season obviously has been going for a couple of months. It's a great time to be involved and to appreciate sports, and it's kind of what we love about Western New York.
Right, that's true, because as nice as the summer is, and the summers are so beautiful here, you get that time to go out. There's the Bisons, but other than that, as far as professional sports, and even the Bisons, you're outside having a hot dog, having a beer, whatever. And then when the weather does start to change, and I know that's kind of hard, now we're in the start of fall, and it's going to start to get really cold. But you have the sports to look forward to. You have the football and the hockey, and your leagues are in full swing. So the seasons here are really great.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the fun things about Western New York is sports are such a part of our culture and such a part of our identity, and that's what makes it fun. People are serious about it. They get into it. They're excited about it, and and when you host a radio sports talk show like I do on the weekends on WECK, it gives you a lot to talk about. We have a lot of fun within our Buffalo Sports Page radio show.
I know, and I love the fact that I get to hear you more than once a month.
Well, there you go. See, that's generally not what most people say to me, so thank you very much for that.
I'm a little jealous of Kevin, because I think that, wait a minute, I'm your sidekick, not him.
I see how that works.
But that's okay. He brings something different to the table. I get it.
You are always welcome to come on, because not only can you talk about bowling, you are as knowledgeable a hockey person as anybody in Western New York. So the offer is always there to shoot on over to Cheektowaga and join us Saturday mornings from 10 to 12, Sunday mornings from 11 to 1.
That's not too far for me. And
I know it's
I can even throw some Buttes in there and
throw a little Buttes hockey. You bring Craig Muni along with you. And Craig can talk a little bit about the Buttes and some of his experiences, and he can complain about how much money Jack Eichel is making now, and how when he played they didn't make that much money. I know how that works.
Yeah.
The action will continue on Beat the Champ in just a minute. Welcome back to Beat the Champ.
So, good or bad that I throw this in there, people go out and buy their first bowling ball, and they buy a plastic ball and a pair of inexpensive shoes, and that whole and a bowling bag will probably cost you $120, $125. Not a huge investment when you're looking at bowling balls that cost $250 all by themselves. And I will say, to take that one step up and get a urethane ball or a lower performance reactive resin ball, because you're going to enjoy this sport a whole lot more. There's no way with a plastic ball that, even though it fits your hand and that's great, the ball's not going to hook for you. The ball's not going to, when you hit the pocket, you're going to get 8 pins or 7 pins and you've hit the pocket. So to me, where's the motivation to get better? Just spend that extra $30, $40 right from the get-go and get a higher performance ball, not a $250 ball. But I think that people would enjoy the sport a lot better if it wasn't such a fight to strike. Everybody wants to strike, right?
That's great advice. That's outstanding advice. And again, as Sue said, those are some great lessons for you to just get yourself started and get yourself to the point where you can be as successful. And then as things develop, then you could take some lessons. You could upgrade your equipment, join a better league. I mean, all those things will come as you continue to get better at the sport. And
right.
Again, we live in a world where there's not a whole lot of patience. And best thing we can tell you is have a little patience. Patience in yourself, patience in your talent. It might take you a little while to get yourself to the point where you're really enjoying it, but just if it doesn't happen in the first week or two, don't walk away.
Right, but truth be told, with a plastic ball, I mean, I wouldn't average 170 with a plastic ball.
Wow.
So if you're just, what's the sense in going out there and you're never going to want to take it to the next level if you're going out there and you're shooting 130 and you're making
just to save a couple bucks.
Right.
All right, now, as this match progresses, here's Pat from the Rapids Bowling Center in the 7th frame. Difficult split. Oh, he almost got it. Not bad. Good job, Pat. Almost got that one. And he's built himself a nice little lead here on Cody Regan.
Well, actually, they were pretty close. Pat was ahead, but that open is now giving Cody an opportunity to catch up. Cody strikes here and he's down 6, but he'll have a strike versus an open.
And he got it.
There it is.
He got it. Nice strike. A little bit late on that rolling pin to knock down what he needed, but there you go. We're right back into a very tight match. Remember, Cody is from the Tonawanda Bowling Center, Pat from the Rapids Bowling Center. This is our sister centers challenge, so to speak, and with the same ownership group, and it's a little chance for their employees to have a little fun and be on TV here and give themselves some bragging rights. Another strike for Cody Regan. Good for him, 2 in a row, 3 of the last 4. And again, 2 of the regular stops that we make here on Beat the Champ here at Rapids. We've been here twice in the last 3 months. Tonawanda Bowling Center, we were there a couple of months ago as well, too. And they are 2 of the nicer facilities in Western New York. And matching them strike for strike is Pat Donovan.
So Pat's going to have to throw them out just to make Cody spare. That's how big striking is on a lane condition that's a little more challenging like this.
There's a look at the Castellone Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram scoreboard to give you up to date on where we are with the scoring. Coming down the stretch here.
But as we've seen all day, anything can happen. I mean, spares and strikes are not gimmies.
They are not. No, they are not.
At this stage.
Don't forget, next week we pick up our competition with our defending champion Joe Pullman at Island Lanes on Grand Island against a whole new set of competitors. And we've always had good bowling at Island Lanes. The Malwitz family, always a great host, always an entertaining host, particularly Mike Malwitz. You never do quite know what he's going to do,
I know, we haven't
say,
seen a lot of
dress
Mike.
like, look like, act like.
I know he must be planning something for us because we haven't
sure
seen him for a while.
He is. I'm sure he is. And then the following month, and qualifying should be coming up shortly for our trip to Batavia at Mancuso's Lanes in Batavia, our return trip there from 2016. So that will map out for you most of the rest of the year here on Beat the Champ, and we are getting set to head into our 3rd year of broadcast once the calendar turns to 2018.
He made it closer, but he eked out a win, 159 to 155.
Cody Regan with the pride of the Tonawanda Bowling Center, a 159 to 155 win. How about that one? Every one of these matches came right down to the stretch.
They did.
They were a lot of fun to watch. So when we come back, we'll talk to Cody and we'll talk to Pat. We'll wrap it up and we'll get you ready for next month at Island Lanes when Sue and I return to Beat the Champ here in Niagara Falls at the Rapids Bowling Center. Well, Pat, now you know what it's like when you make those lane conditions tough.
Absolutely. It was definitely tough out there. The right lane opened up a lot, but I couldn't get past that left lane.
Right,
Didn't matter what I did.
Came right down to the end, like every match it seems has done here all day.
Yeah. So which is what we wanted. So mission accomplished, I guess.
All right. Well, the bragging rights go to the Tonawanda Bowling Center.
That's right, and I know that as bowlers and as competitors, you know, you always kind of want to win, but there's no winners or losers in this match, is there?
No, there's not. It's all about friends having fun and just having a good time coming out and bowling.
And we got that. We got that from talking to you guys. We got that from watching you guys. And again, no winners, no losers, but you know, you kind of won though.
Yeah.
Just go a little bit.
Yeah. Feel free to use that anytime you need to, Cody. Make sure you
every Monday.
Yeah, we compete every Monday at Tonawanda. So
milk that as much as you can. What a great opportunity for these guys to show themselves off a little bit, show off two wonderful bowling centers. We had a lot of fun. Tonawanda, though, the winner in the competition. Sue and I are back to wrap up this week's Beat the Champ when we return to Niagara Falls right after this. What a great month-long stay here at the Rapids Bowling Center. We had a lot of action. We had a little frustration with the lane conditions. It started with Jeremy Zimmerman keeping the winning streak alive, and then it kind of wraps us through Joe Pullman advancing on to next week, and a great exhibition match here that we had today. Those guys do a great job keeping here and Tonawanda as two of the best places in town.
That's right, and Patrick, general manager here, is doing a tremendous job at keeping ideas flowing and keeping his bowlers happy. So it's good to see bowling alive and well here in Niagara Falls.
All right, so we're not going to roam very far for the start of next month's shows, because next week we head to Grand Island, to Malwitz's Island Lanes. Joe Pullman, our returning champ, your arch enemy and nemesis, Mike Malwitz. Are you prepared for what the next month may bring you on that front?
You know, Mike Malwitz always has some antics up his sleeve, so I really can't wait. I'm excited.
You never know what you're going to get when you go to Island Lanes, so that's the best tease we can give you to make sure you're watching next week on Beat the Champ.